Hey guys, I'm still a little bit sick, but today I want to try to talk to you about the books that I read in December and January. And most of these you have probably seen in my 2015 wrap-up, because I mentioned every book that I've read, but I just wanted to talk about some of them in a little bit more detail. So here we go. So first of all, I want to talk about the Twilight books. I finally read Twilight. I have never read it before, and I will probably not read it again, but let me talk you through the books and what I thought of them. So obviously I started off with Twilight, which in German is called Bis zum Morgengrauen. This is written by Stephanie Meyer, I guess you all know that. So with the first book I was very surprised. I actually liked it, which I didn't think would happen, but I thought it was a cute romance story. I didn't need all the vampire stuff in there, but I thought, you know, for a kind of high school love story, I thought it would be quite cute. Yeah, I really enjoyed it after all, and I liked it. So I gave it 3.5 stars. And yeah, that's for Twilight. Now the second book, New Moon, in German it's called Bis zur Mittagsstunde. I didn't like this anymore. I knew that most people say this is the worst book in the series. For me it was not, but I didn't like it anymore. I felt like the first book was quite happy and this one was totally not. It was all like depressed and sad, and I missed the like little cutesy moments, and I'm not a huge fan of either Edward or Jacob, sorry, but yeah, I just felt like it lost that kind of girliness that I liked about the first book. I also really was surprised how much I liked Bella in the first book, but that definitely changed in the second one. So I gave this one 2.5 stars, and yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I would definitely not reread this one. And then the next one is Eclipse, or Bis zum Abendrot. I always want to say Abendbrot because there is a like a movie that makes fun of Twilight, and it's called Bis zum Abendbrot, I think. So yeah, that always confuses me. But this is the third book. I didn't think that it got any better from the second one, and I hated Jacob in this book. Halfway through this point I was ready to throw him out of the window. I just did not like him in this book. I think what he did is it's just not normal. I mean, obviously what Edward does is not normal either. I mean, he watches Bella while she sleeps and they don't even really know each other, which is really creepy, and I hope no one thinks that that is romantic, because it is creepy, guys. So yeah, this was just not my thing at all. Again, I missed all those cutesy moments, and yeah, I just wanted back the kind of feel from the first book, but it just didn't come back. And yeah, so on to the last book. So obviously the third book got 2.5 stars again, because I just felt like it was the same like the second book. Now the last book started out quite good, because actually I liked the beginning. It was cutesy again. I had a little bit of the old Bella back, which I liked, but then it went downhill, and it went down quite far. Like I was actually happy to read a huge part of this book from Jacob's point of view, which I hated in the third book. So now you can think about how much I hated Bella and Edward in this one. I just thought it was all so weird, and it got weirder and weirder, and I was so happy about halfway through this book. You probably all know what happens there, but yeah, I was just so happy when things changed dramatically, but still it just and then the end. And the end was just the most boring thing I've ever read. Like, it was all talking, there was no action at all, and after like the end of the first book, I thought there would be at least a little bit of fighting, even with some of the other scenes that happened throughout this series. The end was just rubbish. It was just so stupid, and I did not like it, and I was just so happy when I was finished. I gave this one 1.5 stars, and it was the worst book I read last year. So that says everything, and yeah, I was just so happy when I finished it. Now, I also watched the movies, and I have to say the movies do get better. I really loved the third one. I think that is my favorite movie. I really like, what's his name? Jasper. I really like Jasper. I think he's super cute. I also like Alice a lot. So yeah, the third movie was definitely my favorite, and I just liked seeing a little bit more of the other vampires. So definitely, I think the movies, apart from the first one, are better than the books. And if you ever think about seeing what's behind Twilight, just watch the movies. I mean, the first one is really bad. It's just like really bad. It was so awkward just to watch it. But they do get better, because what I think the problem of the series is, and the problem of the movies is, that it takes itself too seriously. Like, the first book is so much fun and it's cutesy and it's just lighthearted, and then the rest just tries to be so much more, and it's not. And the movies have the same issue, starting with the first one. So yeah, that's the Twilight thought. I'm sorry you had to get through this now, but it's just all in my head and I had to get out. Now, after this horror, I had to go back to a series that I knew I would love. So I reread The Hunger Games, because I saw the movie very late, the last movie, and I wanted to reread the books before I did, because I knew that I would just be so much more emotionally invested in the whole story if I reread the books before. So that's what I did, and I loved them. I read them for the third time now, and I still love them as much as I did. I think I loved them the most when I read them the second time for some weird reason, but I think that's just because my whole situation just was a little bit, I don't know, it was different than it's now, and in that situation I loved them even more. But I gave the first book 5 stars, the second book 4.5 stars, and the last book 4.5 stars. I think the last book definitely grew on me. I didn't like it when I read it first, but now I think it is the best ending that there was. So yeah, these are just a total winner for me, and I'm glad I have this box set. I really like it. They look massive in this set, but all in all, yeah, I just love these. So after that, I wanted to read something different and something that I wasn't quite sure about, because that's something I like to do. And so I read Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I don't have a physical copy, but I just wanted to talk about it quickly. I fell in love with this book, and I'm actually quite sad that I don't have a physical copy, but then again, I don't need every single book as a book in my shelf. But yeah, I just loved the story. I loved the characters. I didn't like Simon, but I liked all the other characters. I loved names. Bess. I loved him. He was so cute, and actually I don't know, like this whole relationship kind of thing, it just touched me so much. It was so cute. I remember sitting there with the book just giggling, and my boyfriend looked at me like, what's going on? Because usually I don't read books that make me giggle, but I loved it. And yeah, I really want to read more Rainbow Rowell books now. I started with this one because I don't like romance novels, and this one was also a little bit fantasy, but honestly it just was like a romance novel for me. It was just all about the relationship, and I don't know, it stole my heart, and I really liked it, and I still think about the relationship in this book sometimes. So yeah, I definitely want to read more. And this one I gave 4.5 stars, I think. No, I even gave it 5 stars. Wow, this one blew me away. So yeah, moving on, I then read a Game of Thrones book because my friend lent it to me because I don't own the Game of Thrones books, so I just have to keep finding people that have them so I can just read them without buying them because they're ridiculously expensive. So I read the 6th German book, which is the English version 3.2, so the second half of the 3rd book, and I really liked it. I don't know whether I liked it more than the first half of the 3rd book, but in general the 3rd book is definitely the best so far. There has been so much going on. It's been crazy. Like, all the events that happened, they took me by surprise, and whenever you thought, you know, this and that is going to happen, it didn't, and then you read 3 more pages and suddenly it did, and you were like, whoa, what, you know, it just blew my mind, this book. It was very good. Like, all the turns and twists I didn't see coming at all. The end was just like, I need more, but I know that I can't read more than one of these books at a time because they are so big and they take so long to read. It took me almost all of January to read this book. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to be in the mood for the next book. But yeah, so I really liked that one. And so I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think there are still a few bits that are just not perfect or not as interesting. For example, the whole storyline of Daenerys just got really boring for me, and I don't know what's going on there, but all the other storylines were fantastic. So yeah, I can't wait to see more. And then finally, a little reread. I don't know if I mentioned this before because I don't even actually remember, but you know, this is one of the Goosebumps books. There is a movie coming out this year, and I'm so super excited because these were my childhood. So I got a couple of them because I want to reread them, and yeah, so this is the first German one, which is for some reason not the first English one, it's the 6th English one, 6th. And it's called Let's Get Invisible, in German Der Spiegel des Schreckens. And yeah, I just reread it and I liked it. And it was so much fun. I really want to reread more of these because, as I said, they were my childhood. I have all those memories connected to these books. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars just because it was never my favorite Goosebumps book, and I just want to have a little bit of room to like books even more than this one, but just these were just, they were my childhood. I love them. So that would be all. I hope this video isn't too long. I'm so sorry, but I just didn't get around to doing it in December, and honestly in January I didn't read very much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!